there, my name is Kendrick and welcome to Travel and Live Free. In this video, I'm going to cover my country number 91 to visit every single country in the world, and that country is Paraguay. My adventure to Paraguay actually started in Uruguay when I took a flight out of the airport to go all the way to Paraguay. However, the start of the trip was a little bit rocky because we had a long layover in the Bogota airport before going to Paraguay. The layover in the Bogota airport was so long that it was about 10 to 13 hours long of pure hell of just waiting there, only for us to fly to Paraguay right after, which is another long flight that's overnight. And I can tell you that the whole transit going from Uruguay to Paraguay, we felt like zombies. We were barely human by the end of it. By the time we get to the Paraguay airport, the immigration was a little bit on the strict side and they asked us a lot of questions about where we're staying, the exact address of where we're staying, what we're doing in Paraguay, as well as providing them with our forms, such as filling out the health form online and the PCR test. After going through the rather strict immigration process, we went out and we got ourselves a taxi, and the friendly taxi driver actually took us to our accommodation, which is not too far from the airport. We decided to stay in an Airbnb because Airbnbs allow you to check in at any random times. And for our case, we actually arrived at our Airbnb at 5 a.m. in the morning. The problem did not stop there because we couldn't get in. We couldn't figure out how to open the locks to get in the building. And lucky for us, the neighbors, because we went there during Christmas Eve, the neighbors were still awake. So actually they pointed it out to us where the entrance of the house was. And after doing a little bit of detective work, we found a place where we can open the door because this was one of those self-check-in kind of place. Now in Paraguay, we didn't know if we had any hot water or not. So when I took a shower, I had to take a cold shower, and we passed out shortly after because we were so dead tired after this long transit. Now, after we woke up several hours later, we were starving to death and we haven't eaten any protein in the last 24 hours. So we were on the hunt for something to eat that was protein rich. Unfortunately for us, while we were exploring the streets of Asuncion, which is the capital city of Paraguay, we couldn't find any place that was open to eat. We were so disappointed that we couldn't find any place to eat, and we actually felt a little bit discouraged because how are we gonna get something to eat? We haven't eaten anything in such a long time. Luckily for us, our Airbnb host, who was never there the whole time we were there, but kept in touch with us through WhatsApp, was able to tell us that a mall that was actually open, and we go check out the mall. So Karen and myself, we took an Uber, went all the way to the mall, and guess what? They had food, and we got a chance to eat some South American food there. Our favorite is the parrilla, so we got a chance to eat the parrilla. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's probably pronounced parrilla or whatever. It sounds better as parrilla, so I'm gonna call it parrilla. And the mall was pretty modern too, actually. It felt like a typical US mall, and you can tell that it was very westernized and there's a lot of Western influence in this place. Also, while we were on our way to the mall to get something to eat, we realized that there was actually a McDonald's near our Airbnb. So actually, later on, when we went to get dinner, we decided to go to that McDonald's and walk all the way there. The one thing I noticed about Paraguay is that this country is super hot. It's probably like the hottest country I've ever been to in South America. It also seemed that quite a few people in this country knew how to speak some English, and their Spanish was relatively easy to understand, so navigating through Paraguay was not too difficult. What I especially like about Paraguay was Paraguay is not one of those countries that is very touristy. So when you go there as a tourist, then you're not doing a lot of generic things because a lot of things here is pretty much undiscovered or not so much explored yet. So actually, I really love my time in Paraguay, and at some point in the future, I would love to thoroughly explore this country because I really like my time there. As mentioned earlier, we ended up our day by taking a nice long 30-minute walk to the McDonald's, and we got to check out the local neighborhoods. We saw some local kids playing basketball and some locals also just celebrating Christmas right in the front of their house. Another thing that we noticed is that the smaller roads in Paraguay, they are not paved. They're actually made of cobblestones, and only the main streets are paved. The next day, we decided to contact the same taxi driver that took us to our accommodation, and he also took us to the airport again, and he was a super nice guy. The immigration process was a little bit challenging again. They wanted us to present them a PCR test before leaving the country, which is very weird because actually it's not part of the rule that they stated on their website that you need to have a PCR test before you leave Paraguay. Also, the destination that we were going to, which was Panama, also did not require PCR tests. So it was a little bit strange that they required us to present them a PCR test on our way out of the airport. Luckily for me, I kind of anticipated something weird was gonna happen later on. So when me and Karen was in Argentina, I decided to get 2 PCR tests done just in case something like this would happen. And to our luck, the second PCR test actually saved our asses and we managed to get through immigration and fly out of Paraguay with no problem. Anyways, that's about it for this video in my trip to Paraguay. Like I said, I enjoyed it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, leave your comments below. And don't forget to sign up to our Travel Only free newsletter, where you can get a 10-step cheat sheet on how to travel around the world. You'll also get the latest tips and strategies on how to save money on travel for Canadians, how to go on around the world adventure travel for Canadians, and how to use travel to get more freedom in your life as a Canadian. You can sign up for the newsletter in the description below. Until next time, I'll see you then.